Well guys, we've made it. After 11 years and 21 movies, we're finally at the end of this saga for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Avengers Endgame! The anticipation for this movie was astounding. Everyone was wondering how the next film was going to play out because Thanos ended up snapping half the universe away. I mean, he did it. He won. He collected all the Infinity Stones and turned all of our favorite characters into Nesquik mix. And guys, I'm happy to say that Avengers Endgame was totally worth the wait. Because not only is this movie absolutely brilliant, but it just might be my favorite comic book movie of all time. And if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, don't worry. I'm gonna do my best here to give a fleshed out review without spoiling anything, so that way I don't ruin the movie for the people who haven't seen it yet. Which basically means all I can talk about is what we've seen in the trailers so far. Alright, enough delaying. Let's finally talk about Avengers Endgame. For starters, this movie jumps right into it. You see how the snap has affected all of these people, especially the Avengers. I mean, they're all just there, facing the fact that all their friends that they've made along this journey are gone forever. The main Avenger being affected by this though is definitely Thor, because, well, you know.
You should have gone for the head.
Yeah, and that's basically the first 30 to 45 minutes of the movie. The Avengers basically coping with the loss and trying to find out if it's possible to bring everyone back. Later, Ant-Man gets involved as well as some other characters. And that's all I can really talk about when it comes to the story because that was all that was in the trailers. So I guess I might as well go ahead and talk about the things that I liked in the movie without giving any spoilers away, of course. The main thing that I liked in this movie, even more than all the action, is the character development. Almost everyone here gets their moment to shine to show how much they've grown as a character. Keyword being almost. But don't worry, I'll talk about that later. But what was surprising to me is how much Hawkeye has grown as a character in this movie. He started out as just an extra for me in the first Avengers, but now he has grown to be one of my favorite characters in the MCU. He's this badass ninja killing bad guys and he's basically an anime version of Batman, which is pretty cool in my book. Captain America also gets great character development as well. I was happy to see that he got a lot more screen time in this movie than he did in Infinity War, because that was my main complaint with that movie is that I didn't get to see Captain America that much, but I was happy to see that he was the star of the show in this one. And let's not forget about Iron Man. Dude, Robert Downey Jr., I salute you because you really gave it your all in this performance. In this movie, you really see Tony Stark grieve over the people he lost, especially Spider-Man, because he had this father-son bond with Peter back in Spider-Man Homecoming and Avengers Infinity War, and in this movie it shows how much Peter really meant to Tony. Honestly, everyone gives it their all in this movie, and you can tell that all of these actors have a lot of passion for this franchise, and it's sad to see that this movie is basically an end of an era. And man, the last act of this movie, holy shit! The best way to explain how amazing the last act is, imagine what your favorite battle is from any MCU movie, and think about how spectacular that one moment is, times it by 1,000,000, and make it an hour long. That's how amazing the final act of this movie is. It's truly a marvel to behold. Pun intended. And I know what you're asking. Did I cry during this movie? Man, I ugly cried during this movie. Congrats, Marvel. You made me cry like a bitch during a movie with a talking raccoon in it.
Congratulations! 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 Congratulations!
Well, I guess I should go ahead and talk about the things that I didn't like in this movie. And keep in mind, these are more like nitpicks than actual things that ruined the movie for me. Alright, let's talk about Captain Marvel. Still don't like her as a character. I'm sorry, but I just don't like the direction her character is going. She is the exact same way as she was in her own movie, and you already know what I think about that garbage. And like I've said before, I've seen pieces of wood that convey more emotion than she does. But I will give Brie Larson some credit. She does a better job here than she did in her own movie. And surprisingly, Captain Marvel doesn't have that much screen time. She's only in the movie for about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's good at least. Speaking of screen time, Another nitpick that I have with this movie is, I wish I got to see more of Thanos. I mean, sure, he's in here longer than Captain Marvel, and he gets a decent amount of screen time. It's just that a huge portion of Infinity War was dedicated to Thanos. It's just weird that we barely focus on him in this movie. Basically, I wanted to see more of Thanos, but I'm happy with what the movie gave me. And one other nitpick that I might add, and yes, I swear this is the last one, it's that some of the jokes didn't land that well. That's not to say that the movie isn't funny, because it has a lot of jokes that work. It's just that this is a 3-hour movie and it felt like 15 minutes could have been scratched. Just saying. But guys, in the end, Avengers Endgame is smart, funny, and absolutely brilliant from beginning to end. And even though I have some nitpicks, that doesn't stop me from giving this movie my very first 10 out of 10 rating. This movie was definitely worth the 11-year wait. I'd like to give a big thank you to Stan Lee and Marvel for bringing us such a brilliant saga of films, and I can't wait to see where the next saga takes us. And I also like to thank all of you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care.